This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So in last session, we have started to understand the PS project cycle. Okay, and we have seen some steps in terms of like if we are going with the legacy system, if we are going with the Excel, how we can create a project structure in Excel and how we can map it exactly in the project system. Along with that, the preliminary planning, rough cut planning when you are starting a new project. So you are having some idea as per your past experience or as per the data which you are having in organization. So you can do the rough cut planning in a different versions. So in SAP project system, you can have multiple versions. Okay. And then you can do the planning. So planning in different versions possible for the cost planning and for the revenue planning. So in previous session, I have explained only for the cost planning. Version 0, controlling area version 0 is your operative version, which will be used for your real transactions. Okay, means whatever the transaction, actual transactions will be done, it will be with reference to your version 0. Okay, later on we will go one by one, step by step. We will see all necessary settings, but here we are understanding the process flow. Okay, like how we have done in IM. Okay, so I'm just trying to correlate, like when we are going for any legacy system, and then whatever the exercise we are doing, then how we can see all in SAP project system. Okay, that is my motive. So we will continue the same. Okay, so till now only I have understood. Yeah, so we will continue with the introduction of project system, and if you are having any question from your previous session, you can ask. Okay, and here till now in project system, I have introduced only two objects. First is a project definition and second is a WBS element. Okay, so I'll explain what is the requirement when you are talking to your business, how you need to understand your work breakdown structure, how you need to collect this requirement. Okay, generally whenever the people are doing their project in Excel or in legacy system, it's very common term WBS, work breakdown structure. So if you see in MSP, Microsoft project, which is widely used in project management, Primavera, there also we used to create a WBS, work breakdown structure. Okay, so that is the basis for further planning, further actual values consideration, and to plan our resources and all. Okay, so continuation on the same. I'll take you for the same Excel which we were discussing that day. Yeah. So this is the Excel. In this Excel, we are having project structure, okay, and we have seen the proposed cost, how we can plan in CJ40, okay. CJ40 is the transaction code. And then in different version, let's say if you are planning to have your final version, that we can do in the same CJ40 transaction with the version 0. Then approved cost is your budget. So what will happen in the system, whatever is your approved budget, that will be your basis to control the values. Okay, not the plan cost. Okay, so it means the budget which you are going to plan with reference to the project object WBS element, that will be that will have the system will have the control on that, which we used to call it as a availability control. So in my case, let's say if I'm going with this planning, same planning, let's say for this procurement, I'm saying here 96,000 is my budget. So I cannot do I cannot uh, do the actual entries more than 96,000 in all the perspective, whether it is a direct cost posting or it is through your service confirmation or from your material received confirmation. Okay, I'll let you know what is the meaning of all these things. Okay, supplement, transfer, plan, revenue, I did not check. Plan start date and date, we have seen how we can plan the start date and end date, and we will see the purchase requisition. What is the meaning of this? So conceptually, I'll talk here everything conceptually today, and then I'll try to show you in the system also. And here there was another thing which we were talking, the revenue, plan revenue. So this plan revenue, I kept it on first level. Why I kept it on first level? Because when we are creating a sales order, Okay, when we are creating a sales order, that time customer used to have consideration of your all revenue based on your final product. Okay, so what is happening exactly? Okay, just let me explain here one more time the process step. Here in Excel it is fine, but what exactly is happening here in my process steps? Okay, so how I'm going here, let's say this is your client here, customer. Okay, and this is your organization, engineering, construction, and operation department. Okay, let's say this is your company who's constructing the substation. Okay, this is a construction company. So we are here. Okay, we are here. So let's say your contract is finalized with the customer, means you are going to deliver some product and services to your customer. So when this customer is giving you contract, okay, that time for you it is a sales order. It is a sales order. And for them it is a purchase order, right? So when we are getting this contract, when we are getting this sales order, the sales order will have all the information. What exactly information will be there? What is the product which we need to deliver, that is a product or service. Okay, what is the quantity? Okay, so I need to have the quantity, how many how much is the quantity which we need to deliver to my customer. All the condition, means what is my basic cost, basic base price, and top on that what are the other conditions, means the freight charge, is there any VAT or is there any GST, is there any taxes applicable on that. So all the conditions will be there. Along with that, the payment plan will also be there. So in payment plan it will be mentioned that how we are going to do the billing to my customer. Okay, so let's say if my customer is saying when you are going to start a project, I'll give you 10% as advance. Okay, so in billing plan it will be mentioned there that 10% has to be paid advance. Okay, so here whatever the total values I am getting, okay, that is through sales order, right? So this will become my plan revenue. That is the one way. And this plan revenue I'm getting on my project through SD. It is automatic. So when I'm planning the revenue through SD sales order, we used to call it as a automatic revenue planning. Okay. So what we will say, it's automatic revenue planning. And these all activities has to be done in the SD sales order. So sales order has to be created in SD through VA01 with reference to a particular document type. You can segregate a different kind of document. Let's say sometimes you want to have some different conditions based on the type. So in that case, better to have a separate document type for the separate process. Okay, so when you're creating the sales order, you will assign the WBS element. Okay, so this is your final product. Okay, and through WBS element, work breakdown structure, in project itself, you are getting automatic revenue planning. That is the one way which I said. Second, you can plan these values manually also. Why we require to have the manual planning? Let's say the customer has given the LOI, letter of intent. Okay, still we are waiting for sales order, the final contract which is signed by both the parties. But I want to show my revenue in my system so that I can plan, or I can show all these values in my management reporting. So in that case, we can have the manual revenue planning in the system. That is the first thing. Second thing, when we are in the process of let's say in pre-sales, okay, that time also sometimes we used to have the preliminary understanding that if we are going for this project, what will be my revenue. Okay, So we can have manual planning through CJ42. There is a separate transaction and project system. Okay, so we can see both the values, whether it is from automatic or from manual revenue planning in my project system reporting. So that is from revenue side. Okay, so let's say when we are getting this contract, and as per my process, we have created here project structure, which is having project definition and WBS element. Okay, and then we have started this project. And first thing, what we have done my cost planning, rough cut for cost planning in version, let's say X. You can have multiple version, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, likewise. And then you can copy these versions from one version to another version. And then you can plan the final, you can say the cost planning in version 0. Then once it is approved, so this is my revenue part, and here I'm talking about cost part. Okay, so here when it is approved, I'm saying approved cost our approved cost is my budget. So my control will happen on this. Okay, so this is my budget, and then top on that I can have my resource planning, material planning. Okay, so next I'm just explaining the flow actually so that it will be clear. So when I can have here resource planning. So resource will have your manpower. Resource planning, you can plan your material, means how much material you need to have to execute this project. Okay, then what are the services? Let's say if you need some external services, in that case you can plan the service planning. Okay, and then finally based on that you can do the scheduling, or you can do the scheduling first, and accordingly you are planning everything here. So these all are your planning activities. Okay, scheduling, resource planning, material planning, and service planning. So resource planning, you have to assign the staff from your internal team. Okay, means the people, the employees who are already having within organization, you can assign to the project. And in material planning, you need to define the materials, BOQ, BOM, bill of material, which will be considered, and then which will be consumed, which will be executed to deliver your this product. Okay, and then service, to execute that material we need the services. So maybe if we are having internal manpower to execute that, or in some of cases we used to hire one contractor and they used to work on us, work on this project for us. Okay, so here when we are planning to purchase any material, okay, so let's say I'm taking this example. Till here I'm getting all the planning values. Please note that these are my planning values. Okay, and once I'm entering in the next phase of my project, that is my execution of project. So in that case we need to receive the material, we need to receive the services. So how we will receive it? When we are going to procure any material or any services, the department has to raise the purchase requisition. Okay, this is a very normal term. So in purchase requisition, one second please. Okay, so same thing I'll explain through PPT also, so it will be more clear to you. Okay, because here the process should be clear. Transaction will not take much time to understand. Okay, so when we are, let's say I am the project department within my organization. Okay, this is a project department. We are executing the project. Okay, we are the department within engineering construction. We are the executing the project. So for my project, I need material. I need material and I need services. Okay. So when I need material, I can have two approach. Whether we can check in my existing stock. If it is there, then it's fine. We can receive the stock. We can receive the material from that stock. Otherwise, we need to go for the procurement. So how we are receiving, on what basis we are receiving these all material from my stock, that we'll discuss later. But when we are going for procurement, how we can go for it. So basically here project department is responsible to raise a requirement. Okay, so raise a requirement means they have to say what exactly they are looking for. So this project department will create a purchase requisition here. In purchase requisition, they have to mention what is the item they need, what is the quantity they need, when they need, where they need. Okay, this is the only things which they need to consider. Means what is the material they required, steel, brakes, RMC, whatever it is, transformer, how much quantity you need, when exactly as per your project schedule, when, in which month, which date you need, and where, in which location you need to have it, right? So this all information has to kept it in one document, and then it has to send to the purchase department. So in generally in all the organization, they used to have a separate department to manage your all the procurement. Okay, so it can be your purchase department, or it can be your contract department, your material management department, different name, but activities are the same. Then this purchase requisition is the internal document, means we are not sending this document outside of my organization. Here in PR, purchase requisition or PR, we are not mentioning the rates, we are not mentioning the other conditions, because it's contract department job. When they are negotiating with vendor or the contractor, they have to finalize it. So the way of defining the purchase requisition for material and service, it is the same. Then this document will be sent to the purchase department, sorry. So here, let's say this is a purchase department. They will receive this requirement. Okay, and based on this requirement, this purchase requirement will float, they will send this information to the different contractors or vendors. Okay, how they will send? They can send it through online, or they can send it through any letter, or they can publish it in newspaper or internet. So there are different media through which they are sending this information to the different contractors to get more information about it. Okay, so more information means they need a quotation exactly, right? So what they will do, they will send request for proposal, okay, to the different contractor. So I'm saying here, let's say I'm taking the example of material, so I'll say only vendor. So vendor one, this is the vendor one, and this is the vendor two. So to multiple vendors, they will send this document, and what we used to call it is a RFP, request for proposal. So if you remember in my previous process also, I was explaining it is from customer to construction company. When we were getting these details to provide the quotation, it was sent to us by customer, the same document, request for proposal. Now in my case, in this case, now we are the customer for these vendors. So that's why I'm sending the same document, RFP, which is having all information that I need this item, this quantity, when, where. Okay, so we used to call it the RFP. Okay, so in SAP project system, we are having this process. Till here we are having. Okay, we can define the project detail, we can define the structure, we can define all planning. we can create a purchase requisition also from the PS itself. But if you see, the PR, purchase requisition, is a internal configuration from the material management. So in my process, I'll capture all the detail till here, but I'll take you to all the transaction which is coming in complete project lifecycle, means how the integration is happening. So conceptually, we will understand the transaction level, how we need to create a purchase order, how we need to receive the material, all these things. But the configuration, it is more relevant to Okay. So back to the business scenario here. My purchase department, they will send a RFP to the different vendors here, and then vendors will send the quotation to my purchase department. So different vendors will send their quotations. So here we used to call this process as a tendering process. Okay, in that case, purchase department will manage all these quotations. They will capture, they will record all the quotations in the system, and then they will compare. Okay, we used to call it as a vendor quotation comparison. Okay, in some of organization, before receiving the quotation, they used to have the vendor evaluation also. In vendor evaluation, for example, when we are getting any quotation from any vendor, okay, before considering that quotation into my evaluation, we used to evaluate the vendor also, whether these people will be able to deliver the product or the services which we are asking or not. So generally we are having two types of evaluation: technical evaluation and financial evaluation. Technical evaluation, we will check, we will go in their premises, we will go in their factory, in their area, there wherever they are working, like are they able to deliver the services or product as we required. Okay, so that is a technical evaluation. Second is the financial evaluation. Let's say if my contract is too big, so whether they will be able to handle this much of big the contract or big purchase order or not. So we used to, and once it is finalized, then we are checking the legality also. Let's say they are able to deliver technically and financially, but they're legal, they are not paying the tax, or they are having more legal charges on their organization, which are having very bad name in the market. So as per my organization strategy, we can decide whether this particular vendor will participate in my bidding procedure or not. Okay, so there are different parameters. Let's say if you see the government organization, they used to have all levels of evaluation, vendor evaluation, before going for any quotation consideration in their tendering process, right? Because until unless if they are finding any loopholes or any flaws in their processes, or if they think that they are not working as per the legal advisory, then they will not allow them to participate in the bidding. So once your bidding procedure is final, let's say you have given the contract, you have given the purchase order to this vendor one, okay, and he's agreed on everything. And now in that particular document which you are mentioning everything, let's say what is the item which you are going to purchase, okay, what is the quantity, when you need it, where it will be, what is the price, what are the tax, okay, what is the payment plan, everything has to be mentioned in this document. This is an external document. Purchase order is an external document, and it is having legal abiding, means that both the party has to sign on it, and they are, if any dispute is there, it has to be taken in a local court or whatever they are mentioning in that document. Okay, so this is having legal bounding. So as per the contract, as per the purchase order, okay, so here sales order is from the customer side and purchase order is from vendor side. So this is my, when we are creating purchase requisition or purchase order with reference to my project, so this cost used to be blocked. Whatever the cost is being calculated based on the quantity and the price, this used to be blocked in the system, means it will be checked, it will be compared with my available budget. Okay, so we used to call it as a commitment cost. Commitment cost means it is a committed. It is not happened. It is not actualized, but it is a committed means I need to pay this much of amount. Okay, so we used to call it as a commitment. So in my system, if I see here, okay, this is my budget, and whatever is, let's say this purchase requisition is 32,000. So if I don't have my purchase order, only the purchase requisition, so it means it is my committed cost. So here 32,000 is committed cost. Okay, and when I'm converting into purchase order, so in system we are having a provision, the purchase order will replace the commitment cost of purchase requisition. So it means now my commitment cost is reduced to 30,000. So it means I am having only available budget 2,000 to use in this case. Okay, I'll show you in the system how it looks. And delivered cost is when this vendor will start to deliver the material on my site. Let's say my project is being executed in somewhere outside of city. Okay, location we have mentioned in the purchase order, and material has been delivered on the site. So when this material is reached to my site, then it has to be received. It has to be received by the storekeeper. Okay, the storekeeper, the person who's in charge of that store, and he has to confirm in the system itself with reference to this purchase order how much quantity I'm getting, how much quantity I got. Okay, so in that case, let's say this is a store. Okay, and this vendor is sending the, let's say the planned quantity in purchase order was sorry, this quantity was, let's say 10. Okay, this quantity was 10, and this vendor has sent here quantity to store only 5. Okay, so quantity is 5. So when the storekeeper will receive the quantity 5, he will create one document in system. We used to call it as a material receipt. There is a separate transaction for it. Okay, he has to confirm in the system that with reference to this purchase order in which the quantity was planned as a 10, I am receiving 5. Okay, so he will receive the quantity in the system. In some of organization, after receiving, okay, or before receiving, they are having one process of quality check also, whether when they are getting the quantity, whenever they are getting the material in their store, before that they used to have the quality check. So if the material is not as per the quality parameters which we have agreed in the contract, which we have agreed in the purchase order, then we will return back the remaining quantity which is not as per the quantity, which is not as per the quality which we have kept it in the purchase order, and the remaining whatever the accepted, we will get it in premises. So the quantity which we are getting with reference to purchase order, which is created with reference to my project, okay, the cost will be considered here as a actual cost that will be posted into with reference to my project as a actual cost. So here we will have the finance integration where my actual cost will be posted into my GL code cost element. Okay, so this is the complete process. Once this material is received, then this vendor, because he has delivered the quantity 5, then he need a money, he need the billed amount. Okay, so he will take the receipt of the material which has been taken, which has been considered in the store, and then he will take the receipt to the finance department, and then finance department will check all the system, and he will execute one transaction here, Myro, we used to call it as a invoice verification. Okay, and then he will pay the amount. So this is the complete cycle which we need to understand in the project. Okay, here we have whatever the process is coming in we will explain here the transactions, how we can see, how we can analyze the data, how we can see everything. But till here you will go in detail to understand the configuration and all. So I hope this process is clear to everybody. If you are having any question in this area, just let me know. So I'll clarify it because I just want to clarify the terminology, the process flow, which we are going to understand in our upcoming sessions.
Rama, are we going to test both material procurement as well as service procurement?
Yes, both.
Okay. Okay.
So what will happen? See, similarly, we can go for the services. So here, when like in case of material, we are receiving the material in a store, but in service cases, we cannot do that. We have to like the contractor will submit his progress detail that this is the work which I have done, and then with reference to that submitted report, internal person has to verify in the system itself that in reality this is the work which has been done. So the transaction where we are verifying it, it is a service rent sheet. Okay, based on that, based on the confirmation of services, then vendor will go for the payment.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, so now yeah, so this is the cost part, how we are getting cost. See, we have planned the cost here, we have planned cost here, we have planned the budget, we got the commitment cost through purchase requisition or purchase order, then we finally got the actual cost. Okay, once the we are receiving the material or services. Another side, in the revenue side, this is my revenue side where I'm having a sales order, and in sales order I'm having a full payment plan and all. So in that case, I can have in the same example, let's say in my this example, installation of 6611 kV substation for Volcast. I can have a condition that once I'll finish the foundation, okay, that time I'll get 30% of total amount. Okay, so here my revenue plan revenue is 40,000, let's say. So if I'm getting 30% of 40,000 is 12,000, right? How much it is? 400,000, I think. Yeah. So it is a 120,000 I need to bill to my customer. Okay. So in that case, we can create a billing request, BRQ, sales and distribution system. And let me write here so it will be more clear. So with reference to that, I'll create a BRQ. Billing request, and then I'll send this billing request to my customer, and then he will verify, like how we have verified for my vendor. Similarly, they will also verify, and then based on that, they will do the invoice. So there is a separate transaction where we used to have the invoice. Okay, along with that, the payment plan, we are having different payment plan, milestone billing, we are having the flexi plan, we are having the down payment plan. So different payment plans we can have. But here in PS, the milestone billing is important to understand because it's very widely used in different scenarios. Okay, so now coming back to the system. So we were talking about, we have done the cost part, and let us see the revenue. Okay, how we can plan the revenue and how we can see the different data from the revenue side. So let me go to my project CJ20N. Okay, so this was my project. Okay, so here this first level of WBS element I have selected as a billing element. I am not selecting as a planning element. So it means the WBS which we are selecting as a billing element, I can plan the revenue. Okay, so how we can plan the revenue? I am going to plan revenue manually. Okay, so go to accounting, go to project system, go to financials, go to planning, revenue in WBS element, CJ42. Okay, go there, enter project definition. How we are having the way of planning the cost in a different control area version, we can have in the revenue also. Okay, but we are going directly for the version 0. Okay, so here I have selected only first level WBS element as a billing element. That's why only this WBS element is open for planning. Okay, now let me get the description of WBS element here, display option, go to using description, continue. We are having some limitations in SAP. Okay, we cannot have the WBS and description same time here in this column. It's very important because sometimes customer used to insist us we need both, but unfortunately we don't have both the options same time. Okay, so let's say revenue we are planning here 400,000. Okay, so this is a manual revenue planning. Select all because it's not top level, so there is no need to go for total, but still I'm going so that you will be have similar idea. Okay, check it for, okay, no error, save. Okay, so this is revenue. How you can see your revenue in the report? Come here, go to information system, go to structure, sorry, go to financials, go to revenue and earnings, go to hierarchical. Revenue you can plan manually directly in your WBS element or with reference to cost element. Okay, I'll clarify what is the meaning of cost element planning here. Today I'll explain. So let me see first hierarchical planning. Plan actual variance 564 report, okay, or 562 report. These are the report importance. Let me see this 564. Yeah, so classical down. Let me check here. So this is my revenue here. Revenue used to show in the negative values in the reports. Okay, so actual revenue, there is no actual revenue. Once I'll get the payment from my customer, I'll start to get here actuals. Okay, second I was saying the cost revenue planning, the cost element based planning. Okay, so primarily let me clear what is the meaning of cost element based cost planning or revenue planning. Okay, so for example, let's say in the same example here, you are saying design from architect. Okay, so here we have planned the cost 20,000. So let me understand the same here. Let's say this is the header, design from architect, and here I'm putting direct values 20,000. There is a no bifurcation of 20,000. I'm saying altogether the 20,000 has been planned for design from architect. Okay, but let's say I just want to have some bifurcation. I'm saying I need to bifurcate this 20,000 as per the cost element, as per the exact activity by which I'm considering the cost. For example, I'm saying, let's say in 20,000 uh, for consulting some amount. Let's say when I'm traveling to my consultant or when he's traveling, I'm saying the travel cost. For example, let's say the consultant is visiting the site, okay, and he's staying for some days, so accommodation also, and then I'm saying some taxes also. For example, it's just consideration. So this 20,000 I want to confirm as a 10,000 is my consulting exactly, which we will pay to my consultant. Travel cost, I'm saying it's a 4,000. Accommodation, I'm saying let's say it's a 20,000 to 2,000. And tax, for example, whatever the local tax, I'll say local tax. it's a 4,000. So total is my 20,000. So in SAP, I'm having a provision to plan my cost based on the cost element. So these all activities can be my cost element in the system, right? So you have seen in my system as of now to just put this 20,000 as in a same item, but when we want to go for the cost element based planning, it has to be defined somewhere in my configuration in the backend. So I'll show you some idea here. We'll go again. I'm saying we will go in the detail, but I'm just making you familiarize with different processes here. So let's say CJ40. I'm going to check here. Okay, yeah. So here we can enter total cost, or we can go for the primary cost planning, or we used to call it as a cost element based planning. So you double click here, function code cannot be selected. 1 second, primary cost. Yeah, so now here you can see the cost element. So just compare. Here I'm selecting the direct labor cost, indirect labor cost, salaries and wages, benefits, recruiting cost, internal training, external training. So we have again bifurcated the planned cost. So what will happen exactly in my system? Here, whatever the cost I'm planning, okay, and then when actual cost is being posted in cost element, so that will be compared with that. For example, if I'm having some consulting cost element code, let me say this like here, description, I'm saying cost element. So this cost element, 1 second, I'll take similar. Okay, for example, this is this one, this is this one. Okay, so when we are posting the actual cost, means when exactly we are receiving the services with reference to same WBS element, that time we have to post the cost with reference to the cost element. Okay, so let's say if I'm posting here 5,000, so I can compare with the cost element wise. That is the best part. So that we are not going in a major level, we are going on minute level to compare my data. Clear?
Rama,
So
it's specific to WBS or specific to project, this cost element planning, which is specific to WBS or project?
it has to be activated at profile level, okay, which will be available for all the WBS element which has been marked as a planning element.
No, my
Okay,
question is, for example, you are maintaining as a consulting and travel cost and accommodation and local
this is only
something
for this
tax.
WBS. This is only for this WBS element.
The same thing I can do it in SAP also similar way. This.
Yeah.
No, actually, these elements are created in FI. Once you create as a cost element, only we can use for under this WBS this cost elements. If the cost is incurred for travel costs for this WBS, will allow while posting an entry, we use this WBS as a one of the cost
Right.
object like cost center or internal order.
Right.
Okay. It's basically it's a bifurcation of the level WBS.
See,
Correct,
but
Rama?
cost, yeah, cost we are incurring, all cost we are incurring into my cost object, which is WBS element via cost elements.
Yeah. Can you show it in SAP, Rama?
Yeah.
See,
No,
we will see all the details. It is to just understand so that you will the things will be clear when you will go in the one by one step. So things will be clear.
Okay.
Okay. I'll show
Okay,
you
good.
here in system how you can get all the details, how you can plan the values. We will go one by one.
Sure. Okay.
Rama, this cost element planning, cost element is come from the financial
FICO,
background.
CEO,
Okay,
controlling
so
it.
now, for example, you're mentioning that consulting, my company, this entire 1 year, I am allocating consulting charges maybe 1 crore, irrespective of the project. That possible here?
Irrespective of project, huh?
Yeah. So that's
So
it. That head,
that will not
I
be
am
part of
allocating.
your PS. In that case, that will not be. You can plan somewhere in your FICO.
because when I choosing FICO going to posting this consulting, I'm choosing the GL, right? So the cost will be accumulating irrespective of the WBS or maybe internal cost center. How do you control that?
Actually, you are saying that I don't.
Sorry, what is your question? Who is?
Yeah, actually my question is this my company using this travel cost is a very huge cost, almost 10 crore. So they
Okay,
are allocating this 10 crore equal to travel cost budget. Example I'm giving.
okay,
The budget is 10 crore. I
okay.
don't know which job, I don't know which cost center. So I want to see that how do you control in the system travel
No,
cost.
no, no. Okay, actually, travel costs, they'll plan at cost center level, or if it is a project, they'll plan by the internal order. If your company is using internal order, if your company is using, okay, they want to capture to analyze by WBS, they will analyze by, they will plan by WBS. Okay, that is all depends on case to case.
Boom, that is not scenario. Na? Suppose you are working in company, you are the head of the
Let me
department of the
Okay, if head of
let,
the
let,
department, normally finance, okay, finance control, every year they will try to plan the budget for a company code. Okay, if if it is specific to project level, then it will go. If not, they'll plan by cost center level.
No. My query here, travel cost I'm allocation to entire company is almost 10 crore.
let me explain. Let me
So
explain.
10 crore is
Sensa,
going to
sorry,
They
Sensa.
will
I
do
understood.
allocation.
Yeah, I understood your question. Okay, let me explain it. See, you are talking here at company level, not project level, right? So the
yeah,
cost,
I understood.
yeah. So
Yeah.
travel cost, you want to see at company level. You don't want to correlate with your project. So it is not exactly in the area of PS. That is the first thing. So you have to plan somewhere is in your FICO. So there is different provision to plan this cost. Okay, you can
That I
plan within.
guidance, Rama, how to do that's why I'm asking.
We can do, but that is a separate. That's why I'm saying that is a separate area.
Okay.
How we can do? So how we can
It's
do?
not,
You can
it
plan
doesn't
it.
come under the PS, that one.
Yeah,
It
that
comes
doesn't
under
come
finance.
within the PS. And second thing, you can plan it in. Let's say if it is FICO, you can plan. There is another way through this fund management. Okay, like if you are having idea of fund management, how you can control the budget. So in fund management itself, if it is activated, you can plan with reference to your commitment item, fund center, functional area. Okay, and how we are working here for a specific project, there it will work as a company code level. So in that case, system will not check whether you are planning for some project or some internal order or some from maintenance order. No, it will check only at company code level. You have planned your data in a particular master data. So just for 1 second, okay, I'll tell you because this question arises, and I know for few people they will not understand, but still it's okay. Company code. Okay, so what facility we are having in fund management, uh, we can have a combination of fund funded fund functional area, funded program, fund center, okay, and commitment item. So this combination you can define at a as a company code level. Okay, no need to go for a specific project or anything. So let's say your fund is travel fund. Okay, functional area you can define different functional area. Let's say it's India, USA. So different functional area you can have. Funded program, this is your only for travel. Okay, travel program I can say. Fund center, you can have the department within India. Let's say IT department. Okay, and this US is also IT department. And commitment item, let's say it's a travel cost. So the commitment item is your cost element. So here if you are saying, let's say my 10 crore, okay, 10 crore, I'm saying it's a 10 million. So some of people, it will be clear, 10 million. So it means this 10 million is defined at company code level, which is my travel fund. And here it is for India, travel program, and IT. Only it will be given to the IT and travel cost. This is my travel cost. So here we can plan like this way. But this is a separate, different component within a as it is. Okay, but if we
This
are
I,
going for it,
Rama, this I agree. I also know this here, what you explained. The question coming to I am travel cost, I'm creating service PR, right? Service PO. There the account assignment is only one. Either will be cost center or will be WBS. Commitment, if I bring it in fund center, then my cost allocation is not go to that project. No?
why not? It will go. We can assign
I'm
the same combination to my WS. Yeah, it will go. It will go. We can assign the same combination to my project also. Let's say that's out of 10 million, you just want to capture 1 million in my same project, this project. So what you need to do, this complete master data, you need to assign to my WBS element.
Oh,
So
that
there is a
option
way.
is
Yeah, that is there.
okay.
That is there, but it has to be activated at client level. So in this client, this public sector is not activated. Okay, so this we are not going in that side to understand whole things.
No, that's I want that
The
because the
funds
question
management is a different component already completely. It's one of the
Yeah.
module.
Yes.
okay.
Okay, so
So
I hope it is.
summary, Rama, here, what you're saying that this all the allocation, the cost element costing based on the job number or WBS only. Individual WBS wise we are going. Individual job number wise, right? It's not go to
Exactly.
multiple jobs.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
because my WBS element itself is a cost object.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I hope this is clear to everybody. Okay, and then now I'm coming back to see the details here. Okay, we have seen how all these details are coming in the cost. Okay, similarly we can define the revenue also. Okay, 1 second please. Okay, so let's say if I'm going in CJ42, this is my WBS. Okay, you double click here. Overall, go to detail planning. Overall cost element planning is not possible because the configuration is not ready for element planning. Okay, we'll come here later. So now coming back to the, see, whatever I have explained here, it is giving in my this. So 1 second. Yeah, so we have understood this. We have understood master data, functions of WBS element we have understood. And then let me introduce, see, the project system process flow. We have seen the dates, time confirmation, period and closing, and period costing, just conceptual. Okay, I'm not saying that we have covered, it's just conceptual understanding here. Project structure with the network. Okay, so let me introduce a new object here, which we used to call it as a network and activities. Okay, so here my first master data is work breakdown structure, and second is a network. Okay, so here a network represents the flow of project or of a task within a project. So if you see in WBS element, we can plan the cost, we can plan the budget. It's a cost object, we can capture the cost, and we can schedule the WBS element also. But we are having some limitations on some points. Means when we are going to schedule my project, we don't have any provision to create a relationship. Okay, apart from that, there are other things like we cannot directly plan the material within the WBS element. So these are all are the technical limitations. So to consider all these requirements, we have to go for the network and activities. Okay, so network basically it's a network of activities, you can say. Okay, that group of activities which we are going to perform to complete that task. Okay, so generally, let's say in my example here, let's say when I'm saying design from architect, so this is my task, but to complete this task I can have multiple activities. What are these activities? My activities can be finding out suitable architect, design architect. Okay, so this is one of activities. It will take some time. Okay, after that we need to go for the negotiation with the architect. Third step, let's say the provide the contractor, give the contract to the architect. Okay, so these all are my multiple activities which has to be executed in certain sequences, and all these activities will have the durations. The people will be involved to execute these activities. Okay, so that is the extended functionality which we are having in the network activities to use. So in my example, when I'm coming back to here, so here master data and network represent that flow of a project or of a task within a project. During the life of project, network are used as a basis for planning, analyzing, controlling, and monitoring, scheduling, dates, and resource planning, such as people, machine, material, document, or drawings. You can assign network to a project. Okay, so almost all these activities, all these functions we are having in the WBS element, but here in network activities, it's extended. Here we are having some more functions. Okay, so here we have taken one example.
One question, sir.
Yeah.
For having a network, I need to have WBS, okay?
It's not technically, it's not always required, but generally as a practice, we used to have.
Okay.
Okay. Next, this is your WBS element. Within that, we are creating a network, and this network is having multiple activities here. So in my example, network for item 1, design approval is a first activity, the production is a second, third is a quality check. We can create a relationship of all these, and we can find out the Gantt chart and all. Okay. So these are the functions of network activities. In SAP project system, we are having 4 type of activities. First is the internal activity, second is the external activity, third is a cost activity, and fourth is a service activity. Okay, so let me explain all these here. So we are having internal activities. If we are looking to execute any activity within organization, so we used to create internal activities. Let's say any internal employees is executing that particular activity. So in that case, use internal activities. External activities, when it is being executed, it is when it is being completed by any external vendor. So in that time, external activities. Okay, third is cost activities. This activity will be used to capture the cost in execution phase. So for example, your budget is already approved, everything is done, but you are looking for some additional budget in your execution phase. So in that case, you can use the cost activity to capture data cost. And fourth is a service activity. Service activity, when you need any services from your contractor. So in that case, we need to create a service activities. These are the activity type, but the functionality of all activities are given here. Internal activity, it will be used for internal work. Dates, we can plan. Capacity, because internal resource we can assign to it. Cost, we can capture the cost with reference to this activity. External activity or service activity.
Yeah, there is a question. See, basically, what is the difference between external and service activity? Where I can prefer the external activity or service activity? Can you give some brief?
See, service activities, when you are having some lump sum total amount, okay, for with reference to which you are looking to get some services from your contractor. So in that case, you need to go for the service activity. Okay, and if you are planning to have the capture, the details of how many resources you have assigned from the external contractor, in that case, better to go for external activity.
Okay.
Okay, we will see in detail this how we can do that. Yeah.
So basically, the question is there is a construction company, they are building the civil activity, and that their labors are coming from outside. In that case, so earlier, if I'm creating, that should be considered as a service, right?
In that case, see, if you are creating as a service, okay, and you want to capture only direct cost, you are not managing their resources, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, you can go for the service activity. But if you want to manage their resources, okay, so what you can do, we can have dummy data. We can have dummy data from the HR side. Okay, with reference to that we can have a provision to capture the actual cost with reference to your CATs or from activity confirmation, the external activity confirmation. So there is separate cycle.
Yeah. Because of the question is the service entry sheet, we can able to do it for only service activities, not for external activity, I hope.
That's why,
So
yeah, that's why what I'm saying here, when you are going to capture actual cost, in case
yeah.
of external activity, you have to go via CATs, not via service activity, right?
Okay.
Because you are assigning their resources directly.
Okay.
Okay. Here next is material. You can plan the material and network activities where you can have the dates and cost based on the material which you are assigning. The commitment. Why we are saying here commitments? Because based on the material we can create a purchase requisition. Periodic process overhead you can calculate in the network activity settlement, because the network activity, the combination is a cost object, and we can have overhead and settlement in both. Cost activities, it can capture the dates, it can capture the cost. Then milestone train analysis, we can create a milestone within activities, and we can have a MTA, milestone analysis, to see the progress of my project. Okay, so what we'll do now, it's a very detailed process. From the next session onwards, I'll take you to the detail part, because if we are going in the same kind of discussion, then it will, like, we can forget few things here in starting. So what I am going to do from the next session, I'll go one by one in detail now. Is it okay? The understanding is clear how we are going to proceed, the process and all these things. If you are having any question, please let me know.
Can I have this PowerPoint?
Yes, I'll share this. This is, I think this already I kept it in my, yeah, I'll share, no problem for this. Okay, this is basically my demo PPT. Yeah, I'll send.
Okay, thanks.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, so thank you guys. I'm closing it for today.
Hello,
Yeah, yes, please.
Sir Lalit.
Sorry.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, how can I create a project for building construction?
How you can create your project for building construction? Okay, do one thing.
Yes.
Okay, I'll explain each steps. Okay, in my next session, you do one thing. You prepare the Excel as per your understanding. You find out from the nets. You find out from all the resources, like how I have created this structure. Okay, you need to keep ready this WBS structure, and what is the structure we are going to use in construction project. Okay, so it is you just consider please as assignment. Okay, next session I'll let you know all the steps how you can do that. Okay, you find out
Yes.
from net, you find out from your all the sources from where you can get all these details.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Or Rama, I have a question.
yes, please.
For revenue planning, it is not mandatory to select planning element in the WBS.
No, its billing element has to be selected.
Okay. So that planning element will checks only for the cost planning.
It will check only cost planning, and again one more check is also there, validation. Means if we are
Okay.
selecting that checkbox in planning profile, then only it will become a mandatory. So when I'll explain my configuration steps, I'll explain which checks has to be selected to consider planning element as a cost planning. Okay, so if you are not selecting that checkbox in your planning profile, there is system will not check the planning indicator also. So it is an additional check in the system.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.